Good day, welcome to News Now on TV360. I am Thelma Okoro. Troops of the Nigerian army say they have cleared out Boko Haram terrorists taking refuge at Ngoshe and Gaba villages located close to Gwoza in northeast Nigeria. The operation was carried out on Tuesday in collaboration with a large number of civilian joint task force. A statement released by the army said the Nigerian Air Force and Cameroonian Defense Forces also took part in the operation. Army spokesperson Colonel Sani Usman said several people held hostage by the terrorist sect were also released. He said although the number of terrorists killed could not be determined, quite a number of them were injured during the operation. Nigerian troops have begun a new phase of the counter-insurgency operation against the Boko Haram sect in northeast Nigeria. Codenamed Operation Gamma Aiki, which literally means finish the job in Hausa language, the new phase of the operation is aimed at ensuring the insurgents don't have any safe haven anywhere in the northeast parts of Nigeria and around the Lake Chad Basin area. The operation is in conjunction with the multinational joint task force comprising of troops from the Lake Chad Basin countries. Dejibad Mosina reports.
On board ATR-42 aircraft. It's Nigeria's Air Force elite intelligence surveillance reconnaissance airplane. And at the moment, it's flying over a part of the Sambisa forest area, stronghold of Boko Haram in Nigerian northeast Borno state. From the onboard infrared monitors, Air Force personnel could see everything on the ground. The aircraft has been deployed for what military authorities say is the last phase of the operation against Boko Haram. Overseeing the operation on board the aircraft is Senior Air Force Officer Air Commodore Charles Owo.
This aircraft ATR-42 serves as an air command and control station. It directs surface forces and other air assets towards confirmed targets. That's mainly his role. But for this mission, he's doing intelligence, surveillance, and reconnaissance towards getting concrete evidences and conduits for air assets and ground forces to take out confirmed targets. Like you see, we are doing downstreaming. Whatever you are seeing here is what some of our commanders on the ground are seeing. And this gives them an ample time to take decision and direct appropriate air assets towards these targets. So the aim of this exercise is to give them real-life intelligence to take timely and accurate decision towards taking out the insurgents.
On the ground, with signals from the ISR aircraft received, a team of special forces prepare for deployment towards confirmed targets. And in this small room, another team of fighter jet pilots are receiving their final briefing before heading out for the mission.
You're all very experienced pilots. You know your job, you know your mission. And I'm going to give you your tasking, and after this, we'll step out for our missions. Whatever insurgent activities you have in that place, you are tasked to eliminate them. So immediately after the briefing, I expect all pilots, all crew, you have been briefed previously, you have your coordinates, you know what to do, you know your taskings. You step out, and let's get the job done.
Briefing over, the pilots make their way to their jets to set out for the mission. And before long, everyone is airborne, heading towards confirmed enemy targets.
The tempo will increase because we are operating both within and outside our country in coordination with our sister countries. There is a binational cooperation between Niger and Chad that are pushing from Boso area, Lake Chad area, down to Damasak. We in Nigeria also are pushing from the northern Borno up so that everything will be cleared at the end of the day.
It's a strategy that is paying off and tightening the noose around Boko Haram insurgents. But it's still early days to tell if this final onslaught will break Boko Haram and bring it to its knees. Dejibad Mosina, TV360, Maiduguri.
The United Nations has released about 3.7 billion naira as support to the 250,000 internally displaced persons in the northeast of Nigeria. UN humanitarian chief Stephen O'Brien approved the donation earlier this week. The UN Office for the Coordination of Humanitarian Affairs, which announced this in a statement, said the money was released by the Central Emergency Response Fund, CERF. The statement also said the humanitarian response plan for Nigeria was revised upwards by 14.3 billion naira this month and currently needs about 78.4 billion naira. Over the past few days, there have been reports of hundreds of internally displaced persons starving to death. Nigeria's Deputy Senate President Ike Ekweremadu has written to the United Nations, United States, European Union and other international organizations seeking their intervention in his trial for alleged forgery. Ekweremadu, the Senate President, Bukola Saraki and 2 others are currently standing trial for alleged criminal conspiracy and forgery of the Senate standing rules in 2015. They have all denied the charges and have been granted bail by the court. In his letter, Ekweremadu described his trial as an attempt to rubbish the National Assembly. He said the police had not invited him and others standing trial for questioning and accused the government of trying to silence him as a leader and highest-ranking member of the opposition party in the country. Meanwhile, the Nigerian Senate has again summoned the Attorney General of the Federation to explain the forgery case instituted against Senate President Bukola Saraki and his deputy Senator Ike Ekweremadu. The Senate had first summoned Abubakar Malami last week, but he failed to honor the invitation. The Senate panel, in its first summons dated June 27th and signed by its chairman, Senator David Umaru, asked Malami to appear before it on Tuesday by 12 noon. A federal high court in Lagos has ordered former aviation minister Femi Fani-Kayode to be remanded in prison pending determination of his bail application. Fani-Kayode was arraigned on Tuesday alongside 3 others on charges bordering on money laundering. Others charged for the alleged crime are former Minister of Finance Senator Nenadi Usman, a firm identified as Joint Trust Dimensions Limited, and one man identified as Jimoh Yusuf. Their bail applications are expected to be heard on Friday. A federal high court in Ado-Ekiti has ordered the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission to appear before it on July 4th to explain why it should not unfreeze Governor Ayodele Fayoshe's account with Zenith Bank. The commission had frozen Fayoshe's account after allegedly tracing 4.7 billion naira from the office of the National Security Advisor to them and those of 2 of his sons and a former Minister of State for Defense, Musiliu Obanikoro. Fayoshe, through his lawyer Mike Ozekoheme, approached the court on Tuesday through an ex parte order seeking a mandatory order to unfreeze the accounts pending determination of his application. Nigeria's Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Chukwuburta, has blamed terrorist sect Boko Haram for reports revealing he had several properties in Dubai. The Army Chief was speaking at a media briefing to usher in the Nigerian Army Day celebration in Abuja, the nation's capital. According to media report, General Buratai and 2 of his wives were joint owners of a Dubai property that was paid for in one transaction worth over 115 million naira. Deji Badmosi has more on that report.
He walked into the venue of the press conference without showing any sign of an embattled man.
Please sit down.
Even though this was a press briefing on the forthcoming Army Day celebration, the Nigerian Army Chief should have known journalists were not going to miss this opportunity to confront him over the allegation he owned 2 houses in Dubai. And when the question came, this was his answer.
The federal government has already clarified and made a statement on that through the Ministry of Defense. If you want to get my take on the issue, is that we have already defeated the insurgents and the terrorists on the land. Now they've migrated to cyberspace. They've migrated to the internet and other print, electronic media, and so on. But I want to assure them that these terrorists, the Boko Haram terrorists who have migrated to the cyberspace, will follow them to that cyberspace and equally defeat them and clear their doubts. I think that's what I will say in that respect.
Recently, the Nigerian army dismissed 38 senior officers for misconduct. Some of the dismissed officers have been fighting back, accusing the army authorities of not giving them the opportunity to defend themselves. General Buratai, however, dismissed the accusation, saying due process was followed through in the dismissals.
It's a good idea that some of them are opting to go to the court. Let them go. I think that's the right place for them to get redress if at all they were wronged. And some of them have written, and I assure you that we will respond to them appropriately. We have our legal department who have looked at the allegations against them, and they have legally advised accordingly. So, and also the Army Council, in its wisdom, had taken the right decision. If there are other areas that they need to clarify, they need clarification or they are not sure of, let them, as advised, take the necessary action.
The army chief also responded to allegations by a group of Niger Delta militants that some military personnel might be plotting a coup to oust the current government in the country.
We are investigating the source of this insinuation, the source of this allegation. And it is in our own interest to look at every aspect of such allegations in the interest of national security and national defense. And this is quite in line with our responsibilities. So we'll continue to monitor, and anyone who's trying to destabilize this democratic dispensation, I think is making a very big mistake. We continue to remain apolitical as a military institution, as an army, and we've said it, we are much, much better under democracy than what happened in the past.
Buratai also debunked reports that Nigerian soldiers were fighting Boko Haram insurgents in the northeast of the country with refurbished weapons.
The issue of refurbished equipment or not, I think is still part of their campaign of calumny, campaign, against the good job that we've been doing. So it's very clear. I think someone had responded to that. So please, I will still refer you to that aspect, to that theater commander who mentioned this thing. Because they are the beneficiaries, they know whether it is refurbished or not. And whatever happened, I want to assure you that I am highly concerned about doing the right thing. And I personally have been probing myself. My officers will know that we've instituted several investigations. We're even carrying out internal audit of all formations and all units. So they know my position, and will maintain that position.
It remains to be seen whether the army chief's response here will put paid to all the allegations against him and the army. But if he experiences anything to go by, we just may not have had the last word on all the allegations. Deji Bademasi, TV360, Lagos.
The Conference of Nigerian Civil Rights Activists have demanded the immediate removal of the Chief of Army Staff, Lieutenant General Tukur Buratai, over his ownership of two properties in Dubai. In a statement by its convener, Ifeanyi Odili, the group said Buhari should relieve the Chief of Army Staff of his position. It explained that the continued retention of Buratai in his position by President Muhammad Buhari would rubbish the current anti-corruption crusade of the incumbent administration. A new shopping mall is now open for business in the city of Lagos State, southwest Nigeria. The mall, commissioned on Tuesday by the president of the Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry, Onikekbo Akonde, is located in the heart of Maryland. Hundreds of residents in Lagos State came out to witness the opening of the new mall as well as enjoy all of its services. The unique black and purple themed mall was financed and developed by Purple Capital Partners Limited for an estimated sum of 5.8 billion naira. Speaking at the event, the company gave reasons why it chose Maryland as a location for the mall it began developing about 3 years ago.
It's very key that we develop the inner cities of Lagos and ensure that we take infrastructure to them as well, and not just the islands should be developed. So that's motivated the key for us to continue to push in the direction of developing this center at Maryland. This building is very secure. There are over 100 cameras in and around the building. Every single thing is monitored. Cars, plate numbers, there's smoke detectors all around the building and heat-sensitive detectors as well. The entire building is very efficient and effective in itself. It shows you, it clearly defines what you will find anywhere else in the world. There's a people counter that tells us how many people come into the building and come out of the building. So in terms of human traffic, car traffic, security in itself, we worked with Lagos State. We've worked with Lagos State Transport Ministry, LASMA, and we worked with all the other facets of the environment in Lagos to ensure that we have a product that is secured, is traffic-free, and ensures that anybody can come in here at any point in time and have fun.
Via its high-class environment, great. Ikeja footfall guaranteed due to the population density, but Maryland is a strategic outlet because you can connect anywhere in Lagos State from Maryland here. So this is like the central location that any shopping mall, modern trade center can ever enjoy this kind of space. So for me, Maryland is quite unique because of the strategic location of the mall.
Nigeria is tilting towards retail business in a big way. This is not only our outlets. We've been there in all the outlets like Jabi Lake, Festival Mall, Lekki. These are all malls. And business in the mall is more convenient because it gives the shoppers the leeway to accessing the shop in a convenient place. The shop is beautiful, the ambience is cool, the location is interesting, so you're shopping with convenience and you're happy. When you talk of prices, our prices are moderate and considerably cheap. Even in the open market, there is no difference. Nothing like because it's ShopRite, you have a higher price. No. What we are showing you is getting the best quality of devices at the best price, supported with excellent customer service.
Ali Modo Sheriff, who is the factional national chairman of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has appointed Cairo Ojogbo as the party's acting deputy chairman. Ojogbo is to replace Uche Secondus, who has since identified with the Ahmed McCarthy-led faction of the party. The PDP has been immersed in a leadership crisis since its national convention in May this year, which culminated in the party having two different factions. Barely 24 hours ago, McCarthy had urged Sheriff to embrace dialogue to end the leadership crisis in the party. We'll take a short break and we'll come back. We'll look at business and international stories. Don't go away.
From the multi-award-winning filmmaker.
What were you doing at the beach resort?
The first ever Pan-African movie.
We've all met at company retreats in the past before.
Each one with a mission and a strategy to determine who will be the next CEO.
I Googled you last night and I came up with nothing. Nada.
I'm off the grid. I fly below the signal.
Coming to the cinemas from the 15th of July, 2016.
10 VIP CEO premiere tickets and 20 autographed DVDs up for grabs when you pay for the OLX Do It For Me service from 6th of June to 1st of July 2016. Visit olx.com.ng to book a champ now.
OLX, sell it!
In my country.
That was a very good business.
Yeah.
The furniture you brought was very perfect.
That's how we roll.
Let me do you receipts.
Yeah. How much was it again?
1 million naira.
Okay, write 2.5.
Mbano. The deal was for 1 million naira now.
Okay, write 3 million. I'll give you 500.
Oh no, I doesn't do business like that now. Yeah.
In that case, give me back my check. Let me go and look for someone that understand business.
Take.
Your loss. Rubbish.
But it is only for incorruptible customers. What are you talking?
Now get out.
What kind of this?
You will just die.
No.
You will die.
That is the door. Now get out from here.
Rubbish.
Look, my people. Make una only add money for original invoice price. That's not corruption. Say no. Not in my country.
Corruption not in my country.
Welcome back. You are watching TV360 News now. The CBN has sold an undisclosed amount of hard currency on the interbank market to ease dollar scarcity. The move is expected to provide importers with dollars to pay for their products. The naira ended at 282.50, slightly weaker than the 281 naira to the dollar it first traded at on Tuesday, more than 3 hours after the market opened. The CBN has been selling dollars on the interbank market since it ended its 16-month-old currency peg last week. It sold again on Tuesday, asking currency traders for bid offer quotes. The Lagos Chamber of Commerce and Industry says the UK's decision to leave the EU may not have a profound effect on the Nigerian economy. In a statement issued, the body said, quote, "Most of the current responses are driven by uncertainties and expectations which will fizzle out in the not-too-distant future," end of quote. UK financial market has remained volatile in the wake of the Brexit vote. The sterling on Tuesday plunged to a 31-year low against the US dollar. 52% of voters had voted to leave the EU, while 48% had voted to remain. Stockbrokers in Nigeria say when the UK eventually pulls out of the EU, we may see a negative impact on the Nigerian economy, since the UK has most of their trading partners here in Africa. However, the LCCI says that is highly unlikely. Nigerian stocks extended losses on Tuesday amid fears that demand for riskier assets will evaporate. There's also fear that the flow of foreign funds into Nigeria will dry up as a result of Britain's vote to leave the European Union last week. The main stock index shed 1.66% to 29,348 points, dragged down by banking, oil and consumer goods shares. UK financial markets have remained volatile in the wake of the Brexit vote. On most business stories now, the oil price rose on Wednesday as financial traders poured money back into commodities following the initial shock of Britain's vote to leave the European Union. Brent crude futures were trading at $48.95 per barrel, while US crude climbed 44 cents to $48.29 per barrel. Both oil benchmarks gained on Tuesday after markets shook off some of the shock from the Brexit vote, in which most voters chose to exit the EU. On the supply side, a looming strike by Norwegian oil marketers threatened to cut output from the biggest North Sea producer. A gun and bomb attack on Istanbul's Ataturk International Airport has killed 41 people and injured more than 140 others. 3 attackers arrived in a taxi and began firing at the terminal entrance late on Tuesday. They blew themselves up after being fired by police officials. PM Binali Yildirim said early signs pointed to so-called Islamic sect, but no one has so far claimed responsibility for the attack. Recent bombings have been linked to either ISIS or Kurdish separatists. Sweden, Kazakhstan, Ethiopia and Bolivia have been elected to the United Nations Security Council for 2017 and 2018. But further voting are due to take place to decide the final seat, with Italy and Netherlands almost locked in a tie. This came after 3 rounds of voting by the 193-member UN General Assembly. The Netherlands had 96 votes, while Italy had 94 votes. Countries need more than 2/3 of the vote to win a seat in the UN Security Council. The new members will replace Angola, Malaysia, New Zealand, Spain and Venezuela on the Council from January 1st, 2017. The Council is made up of 10 elected members, 5 voted on each year, and 5 permanent members, who are United States, Britain, France, China and Russia. Moving on to sports stories, now the Lagos State government has announced it will hold a testimonial match in honor of former Super Eagles coaches Stephen Keshi and Shuaibu Amodu. The match will be organized in conjunction with the Sports Writers Association of Nigeria and will be played at the Teslim Balogun Stadium in Surulere on June 23, 2016. It will also involve the Super Eagles players taking on a Lagos All-Star team. Keshi led the Nigerian national team to its third Nations Cup title in 2013 and a second-round World Cup appearance in 2014. He died on Wednesday, June 8 at the age of 54. While Amodu is the only Nigerian coach to qualify the country for 2 separate World Cups in 2002 and 2010 before he was sacked before the beginning of each tournament. Nigerian champions Eyimba will on Wednesday attempt to resuscitate its CAF Champions League campaign when it takes on South African champions Mamelodi Sundowns in the second group stage match. The People's Elephant are currently trailing in Group B after falling to a goal from Bassem Morsi at the Adokiye Amem Sika Stadium in Port Harcourt. Sundowns, meanwhile, had their victory against Setif cancelled following the expulsion of the Algerian club for crowd disturbance. Both teams are currently on 0 points. Well, that's all we have on news now. We thank you very much for watching. I am Thelma Okoro.